It's the SKOR North Twins Show.
Your 3-7 SKOR North Twins Show. I was just looking at this, Trev. Coach Trev every Tuesday, Trevor Plouffe on the SKOR North Twins Show. Hit that like button and subscribe button where we're going to try to put lipstick on a pig over the course next 30, 40 minutes or so. I just looked at this. All three phases, offense, pitching, and defense. Team OPS, the Twins are 27th in the big leagues. Team ERA, they're 25th. And defensive runs saved, they're 29th. Not the start we were looking for after last year's collapse. The Twins are now 3-7 on the season. Ugh.
I don't know where to go after that.
And over to Trevor.
All right, that's a wrap on the SKOR North Twins Show.
Yeah, I mean,
We'll
look,
see you next year.
It's been really rough. I think, you can point to a couple things, like obviously the Jordan homer really killed some whatever positive momentum was there. That really hurt. But you're going to get Jordan every once in a while. I think overall, though, yeah, it just hasn't been. It hasn't been what. Well, I really don't know what people were expecting this year. I had high expectations. I did. I think going over the roster, it looked complete. It felt like we had all the pieces there. I always question the Twins starting pitching a little bit, even though it has ranked decently. Like it hasn't been like necessarily the problem over the last couple of years. But yeah, and I mean, honestly, like you just read, nothing has gone right. The first thing that went right was Rocco getting thrown out of that game last night. That was good. I'm in for that. Like it made sense. Everything made sense. I'm glad he did it.
What was up with that too? Nick Lentz, right? What was the plate? What's the power trip there? Like the pitcher literally, Sim steps off. You can tell exactly what's going on. He's having trouble because the communication for the pitch comm is not working, which by the way happens all the time. It's not like it's new. And like instead of the plate umpire just granting time, let's get this fixed. What is up with that? To me, it's like Angel Hernandez was forced out for a reason. Why do we have to see these ump shows, which are just ridiculous? That one in Baldelli's case, I am totally on his side there. He should have been pissed off.
Yeah, I think what he said after the game really made sense. Like, you can make a bad decision, but then you can also collect yourself and say, actually, okay, let's get together. Like, there was a pitch comm issue. You can say, no, let's strike that. Like we're good. Like just throw the pitch now. That's kind of where I'm at with it. I don't want to get into my feeling on pitch comm. Because I know everybody likes it. Everyone that uses it likes it. So I'm not going to talk about that, but I hate pitch comm. To be honest,
this is
I just don't.
This is one of the oldest man takes in Trevor
I know.
Plouffe.
Unburn yourself,
why
Trev.
I hate it so much, but I feel like Judd, you just said it does happen all the time. Like the miscommunications still happen, and isn't that one of the two main reasons we got rid of the fingers was sometimes you can't see them, and then I guess it's you can pick the pitches, but it's part of the game. I don't know, but yeah, it was justified. Rocco should have got thrown out, so I think it was probably a little twofold. Should have got thrown out, and then he got trying to do something to get the boys fired up, right?
Which is I feel like a really bad sign. If you're looking for what are the bad signs in the first a small sample size 10 games, but when you've already DFA'd two of your pitchers in 10 games, and the Twins kind of do that, teams do that. It's like a taxi squad thing, but your managers are already trying to fire. Can I take you guys 30,000 feet here? Something I was thinking about this morning. And I agree with Trevor. I'm not out on the season at all. 3-7 is a bad start. I want to see what happens throughout April. But let's say that they don't turn it around. They don't make the playoffs. One thing that kind of bothers me about the last 15 or 20 years of Twins baseball is just the wasted eras. So Joe Mauer, Justin Morneau were a lethal tandem for years. And as those guys emerged, you didn't have target field yet. This is 2004, 2005, 2006. You felt like you had to trade Johan at his peak. It's not that they screwed up the era because they won a bunch of divisions, but they didn't cash in on the Mauer-Morneau era. properly. They didn't win any playoff series because the playoff series that they won was 2002. That was the year before either one of those guys got called up. All right, so flush it. Byron Buxton era. One of the most uniquely talented players when he's on the field in baseball. And Miguel Sano was supposed to be part of that era too, and maybe some other guys, maybe like Barrios or whatever. But it just kind of feels like, and then throw Correa in at the end, it kind of feels like these two eras with really talented players at the top of your organization, and they have one playoff series win to show for it because the Contraction Twins own the ALDS win over the A's, the Minkevich, Koski, like that group in 2002. So you just got, you hate seeing, and it's not just the Twins, Trevor, you cover the whole league on John Boy stuff. Like when you waste an era with really good players in baseball, it stings for fan bases.
I also think it is. Every time, obviously if you're a Twins fan, you've heard about playoff failure, and it still strikes a chord with me every single time because of what you just said. Like I do cover the league and I see all these other organizations kind of like, maybe they get lucky one year, maybe things all line up and it just like hasn't happened. For the Twins, it really does feel like there is some sort of power that's stopping them from getting some
like why is
sometimes.
Royce Lewis out again with another hammy? It's ridiculous.
I don't have the answer for that one.
Yeah, and I'm not tough. Dumping on him, but
look, when you see teams make runs and they go on runs and they do well in the playoffs, it's like one of two things happens. Either they have a bunch of young guys who kind of were supposed to be at this level, significantly step their game up and take it to the next level. That's like kind of what we're seeing with the Red Sox and why they're deciding now to go trade for Crochet, to go get Bregman, because they had these guys take that absolute next step. And they're like, okay, we're paying these guys league minimum and they're above average ball players. Now we have prospects waiting that they don't really have a chance to play, so we can trade them. It hasn't really, I don't think that's happened for the Twins where they've had just huge significant seasons from young guys and then they could supplement. And are they going to supplement? I don't know, even if they did, but I think that is, I don't know how to categorize it, man.
But you nailed it, Trevor. You nailed the most important thing. So I'll give you, so you're right. These opportunities don't come along much, right? Like it's not like every year the Twins could win. They can be good, but you're not going to. Things need to break right. And I'm going to give you at least 2 years. Was it 2010? But then the poster child for the Falvey regime is 2019. Okay, you've got a special year. Like you've captured lightning in a bottle between your veterans and your youngsters, and you are hitting a ton of home runs. What do you have to do? What's the final step? At the deadline, you've got to go fortify. That's what the opportunistic teams do. Kansas City last year, right? Like, hey, we've been bad for a long time. We're good. We are going to trade some prospects because we want to give our bullpen a better chance. Like, I think in 2019 and the Falvey years, I think when you look at the years where it's like, okay, this is clicking, like something's right here. What have they done at the deadline? For the most part, nothing. In the year that they tried, they unfortunately got a couple guys who were banged up. So, Phil, I think the answer to your question is exactly that. You didn't take the last step of the opportunity, and by doing so, you really potentially killed your chances of having a deep playoff run.
And real quick, front offices, I think like if Derek was on the show right now, I think he would probably lay out some evidence for why, if you're a middle market team, you got to be really careful about trading 3 really good young team control prospects for a player or two that might not actually get you the result that you want in October because of how volatile A, the baseball playoffs are, but B, the baseball is a sport where like one player doesn't make the impact that a quarterback makes in the NFL or a superstar basketball player makes. But I still think you have to make those moves more often than they've made them over the past 20 years. Now, like that one tweak at the deadline, that's not, this team is, there's more things to fix than like a trade at the trade deadline to put them over the top. So there's some different scenarios here. But yeah, they haven't, in the 8 years of Falvey at the deadline, Trevor, they've been in contention or playoff bound 6 times. They've been aggressive once. So philosophically, and it wasn't that much different, when Terry was running the show either. Philosophically, they're kind of just be conservative and let things play out and see what happens organization?
I'm not a prospect hugger. Like that's like pretty much the opposite of what I am. And yeah, they get snake bit by the Malley trade, I guess. But even if you look at the guys they gave away, Strand and Steer, like I don't think they would make a difference on this team. Do you?
No.
So they took a shot. And I think there's a couple ways. If you're running the Twins, you're the team president now. I think most guys would say, and maybe not in the press, but most guys would say, I will take, 3+ million fans through the gate. I would take that every year rather than 2 million and a playoff exit in round 1. So like, how do you do that? How do you appease the fans? You got to give them something to cheer for. You got to go make those moves. You got to go try to sign a free agent. You got to drum up interest. I didn't think the Twins needed to do a lot in this offseason, roster wise. Like they kind of had their roster and they have some guys waiting in the wings. And, could we have went out and maybe splurged a little bit more on first base? Sure. But I thought they were pretty much set. But sometimes you just got to go out there and do something. You got to give something back to the fans. Like, I don't think the fans. Yeah, I don't know. There's just nothing right now that's engaging people into the Minnesota Twins, and I think that's a big problem.
Is that on that note? So like last year and the last 3 or 4 years, the Padres, not a huge market, and you live in that general region, so you can speak to it better than we can. But the Padres haven't had that much more, if any more, success than the Twins in terms of like average wins per year the last 5 years or how far they've gone. But it feels like ownership and front office have told that fan base, and they're also not competing in an NFL market anymore, and there's all those things. I get it. But like, hey, we're going to be super aggressive and try hard to put a winning team and an exciting team on the field. And fans have repaid them. They averaged 41,000 fans per game last year. 3.3 million, dude. It's
awesome there. So that's, we've talked about this, I believe, last year. Like, what can you do at Target Field to drum up excitement and in the experiences? You go watch a game at Petco, and it's not too dissimilar to Target Field. I mean, it's in downtown. Target Field has a bunch of walkable restaurants and bars and breweries all around it. In San Diego, it's the same thing. But they have this awesome area for the kids, and I guess they have a bigger footprint to work with, but they have an awesome area for kids to just go run around. It's a big playground. They have a wiffle ball field. They have a concert like stage. They have a grass there where you don't have to actually buy like a ticket to get in the game, but you can watch it's an experience, man. That's why they fill it up. Peter Seidler. Did Peter Seidler like go and before he passed, like sign a bunch of dudes and really go for it? Sure, that helps, but the attendance has been there for them because it's a fun place to go. And I think, obviously some of the novelty has worn off since 2010 with Target Field. You got to try to do something. There's just the Twins right now find themselves in a very interesting, situation. Interesting. I don't know if that's the right word. It's a nice word for
that's
it.
That's how Minnesotans put something that
precarious.
So that's
right?
really interesting. Yeah.
Precarious.
So they got to figure something out. And again, like I don't think this team is a 3-7 team. I think they're better than that. They just haven't played well in a 10-game sample. I think there's some pitching stuff that we could talk about, and maybe some changes in the rotation that you could make right now. And the offense, hopefully, we'll figure it out. But something has to give, man, because you can't. First of all, you can't continue to operate like this and then expect to get what you're asking for your franchise. If you're trying to sell it for $2.5 billion or $1.5 billion, whatever it was, like you got to show some signs of life, right?
Totally. Well, so first change, Chris Paddock out of the rotation and call up Zebby Matthews. I'm going to go watch him pitch. So he's pitching in St. Paul today, Trevor. I'm going to go to tonight's game and watch him throw. And he was throwing like 97 in spring and was touching like 99 in his first outing with the Saints last week. I mean, first process change. Chris Paddock to the bullpen. I don't think they're just going to waive him or DFA him. Put him in the bullpen, insert Zebby Matthews. Like, they're starters, man. And good for Sim. Like, he wasn't sharp yesterday, but they needed 5 innings from their starting pitcher. They finally got it. So first process, can we remove and end the Chris Paddock starting experience, call up Zebby Matthews, and give them more length and just a better arm out of their rotation?
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about it before, and I was on the broadcaster's call, like with Twins TV, and we were asking questions, and Morneau he was the first one. He was like, "Yeah, like Paddock's going to be in the rotation. I actually was before the season was like, I don't think he's a top 5 pitcher in the org right now. And that's kind of what you're supposed to have as your starters. But I guess you understand some of the monetary stuff there, and this was the plan. But yeah, I agree. It's like you got to change some things up, and I wouldn't mind him being a long guy in the bullpen, but going once every 5 days, like you just need a better chance. You got to give yourself a better chance right now.
What's your assessment on Correa? Because I know he hit the ball hard. He is really struggling. But when you watch his at bats, what are you seeing there, Coach Trev?
He's hitting the ball hard, but it's hitting on the ground. So a lot of times when you're hitting the ball on the ground, you're just not like free enough. And I think, I don't know what it is, if he's closed himself off a little more, or I just feel like his hands are in a different place right now and they're not free enough. That's what, and maybe I need to deep dive a little bit more into that. But when I watch him there, it feels like he's not giving himself. Let's see.
Show it. This is awesome.
I feel like
wait, is that
he's not giving himself enough space.
Kind of bad
like a tutorial?
As Josh Donaldson would say. Do you guys like Josh Donaldson? How was your feeling on him?
I loved Josh Donaldson. I feel like he wore out his welcome a little after.
I felt like he was a little bit confrontational.
Yeah,
I think that's a fair assessment. I think he would say the same thing.
I think he liked being confrontational.
You talk hitting with the guy, it's awesome though.
Yeah.
Really fun to talk hitting. And he always talks about creating space with like your front hip. He would say, hey man, like if I could, I'd have my front foot like parallel to the batter's lines, so I can open my hip up so I can give my hands room to work. Right now, I feel I'm going to get off the mic here. I feel like Correa is not giving his hands space. So his shoulder is too far in, his hands too far back.
Do you want the full here? Let's go solo. Yep. There you go, Coach.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And then when he goes to make contact, it's got like more room to travel, or like longer to travel. So when that happens, now all of a sudden you got to be quicker with it, and your swing kind of gets cut off. You'll start topping balls, as opposed to when you have your shoulder kind of more neutral or open, and now you have this whole area where your hands can work. And I bet if we looked at his video, you could see a difference in like hand position. That's what it seems like to me, just the at-bats that I've watched.
So yeah, Parker Hegman kind of broke this down last night. So he's topping nearly 50% of his contact this season has been topped. So like what Trevor is talking about is pretty accurate here. His bat speed's good. Some of the hard hit rates, like the exit velocity, is solid. But even if he has a side-by-side of actually Astros Correa at Target Field, Parker Hegman.
I love Parker. We talked about him already.
Yep. So he does a great job breaking down hitting, and he has a side-by-side of what Astros Carlos Correa look like and what this year's Carlos Correa looks like. And yeah, his hands are much more back than they are when he was with the Astros. And yeah, he's topping a ton of pitches. And that's
so you'd fire Borg Schulte now? Is that what is that?
And bring in Plouffe.
No, I'm not saying that whatsoever. And that I'm looking at Parker's X right now, and it's I mean, you can kind of see his hands are so far back. And the reason I said it was I was just on his Savant page, 63.3% ground ball rate right now.
That's crazy.
And his, he's a 44 guy. Like that's what his career norms are. So that tells me like something's off with the swing. And looking at this video, I have to go into it a little bit more, but I mean, there's definitely differences in his setup. But from the at-bats that I've watched, it just seems like he's got to be too quick with the hands. He's not giving himself space or time.
I mean, two things. One, spring training felt similar. I guess, I don't know if they have the Baseball Savant batted ball data for spring training games on there, but he didn't get it going during spring training. So I'll ask the obvious dumb question, which is he's been dealing with foot. He's got the ankle thing. Like, is that, I mean, we're all just projecting. We're not doctors here, but that would be the worry is, okay, is he overcompensating with some mechanical tweaks because he's trying to alleviate pain in an area that should be a concern? I don't know, but that's where my mind goes.
It could be because, even if it is your feet, like, that adjustment can cause a chain of reactions and, where, maybe he's in that position because that's where he feels most comfortable right now, less pain, whatever it is. But this is where a hitting coach comes in. Like, you have to be a swing coach and you have to be a hitting coach. You have to be both. and you have to say, here's your video. This is what's happening. You can see the data. Obviously, they know that he's hitting the ball on the ground a ton. Okay, so what's the difference? Let's go get a couple really nice swings. And Carlos will know exactly. This is the thing about hitters, man. You just got to ask him. When was the last time you thought you had a really good swing? He'll say 2-2 count, May, whatever. Like, he'll give you the exact date, picture, everything. You just remember. Go back to that video, see, okay, where is my body? And you can almost put yourself back in the batter's box and say, well, what was my thought process like? Where, was my routine different? His routine probably isn't any different. If I had to guess, it's probably stayed the same because he's found success with it. But like, what's mentally, what was I thinking? Then what's my setup look like? Mechanically, there's probably some different things. And you just got to go do it, man. And that's why being a hitting coach is so difficult, because you're trying to do this for 12 to 13 guys on any given day. You have help, but it can become a lot. So I don't know, like he's not the biggest reason why everything's going wrong, but it's obviously something that he could probably fix that in a couple days.
Yeah.
Okay. So your last great swing of your career was when?
Last great swing.
Well, you're like your Correa example.
What a baseball reference guess.
What is the Trevor Plouffe like? Like, do you recall your last, what you felt was just your best at bat at the end of your career?
Yeah. So I think mechanically I was really, really good in 2014. Was probably my best years mechanically, where I felt like I had a mix of athleticism and like being really grounded. So my hands, everything was really quiet at that time. I wasn't moving a ton. I didn't have a ton of like head movement. There was one at bat against my favorite swing was from that year against Dale Thayer in San Diego. I believe it was a 3-2 pitch, backdoor like two-seamer, and I hit a homer with it. But like my swing at that point, like if I had to go back right now and say, where do you want to go? I'm trying to make a comeback. What's my swing look like now, and where do I want it to be? I would go to that exact video.
It was
May 5th.
It was. It's amazing baseball players, man. You guys are ridiculous.
Something like that.
It was a home run off Dale Thayer here.
Wow.
You were. I'm trying to find the count. So it was.
Remember yesterday.
It was the third pitch.
Was it a 2-0 count or a 3-2 count?
Why am I having a hard time deciphering this? It was. It looks like it was a 1-2 pitch. Is that no? That's not.
No, because I had fouled some pitches off. It was a longer at bat, and he just left one over the plate. I think it's 3-2.
Okay, yeah. It's only showing me I got you. It's only it was a 3-2 pitch.
That's incredible.
It was a 3-2 pitch. Yeah.
Okay,
fly
that's
ball, deep left field. Did you ever hit opposite field home runs? I mean, you had that like pull, that groove to left field.
Not a ton. Mike Leake in Cincinnati 2012. Martin Perez 2016. I had a broken rib, did one in Target Field. But Target Field's shoot, man.
Yeah, well, Joe Mauer found out left field. I mean, that 2009 season where he won the MVP and hit like 28 homers in 5 months, and then all of those same trajectories just now the concrete's settled since then.
The concrete has settled.
Yeah.
No, it's Josh Willingham saying, "Guys, you can hit here," and everyone's like, "Oh, you can? Okay, great."
Tommy and Willingham were like, I think it's okay. I think the concrete's
not that hard.
Yeah. So
where do we go from here, guys? What are we doing?
I know what we can do. We can shout out North American Banking Company before we figure out what the real fix is here. North American Banking Company partnering with us on the SKOR North Twins Show. It's a Minnesota-based bank. They got 6 locations in the Twin Cities: Maple Grove, Roseville, Shoreview, Hastings, Woodbury, 50th in France. And it is springtime now, so if you're looking to finance a big project, maybe even just find a new home, North American Banking Company is here to help you with the mortgage process or whatever it may be if there's a big landscaping project that you need to finance. Even if it's just basic checking and savings upgrades, North American Banking Company can help you. nabankcode.com/Mackey to learn more. That's nabankcode.com/Mackey. Member FDIC, equal housing lender, Dex.
Yeah, and also Element Hotel just steps away from Target Field. If you're looking for a nice place to stay for a game or just a night out in North Loop, man, whether it's a Twins game or hopping around all the great restaurants and breweries, scorenorth.com/element, and you will save 15% off your room rate. You can go in there and stew on hitting like we're trying to figure out here. scorenorth.com/element for a 15% room rate.
They have great Wi-Fi for you to go to
that hotel before. That's a great hotel.
It is. Yeah, they've got like avocado toast as part of the.
Oh, love a good. Oh, that's great. But you know what, Trevor? Shout out to you for remembering at bats in 2012 and 2014. That is incredible.
I mean, you fail a lot, so you remember the good ones.
Yes. That's awesome.
Delman Young was maybe the most hitter savant person. He'd remember stuff like when we were 12 years old. Like he is insane with that. Yes. And his brother, or it's not his brother, excuse me. I think it's like a nephew. Quentin Young is going to be a top 5 pick this year.
Really?
In the draft, yeah.
Out of high school, you said?
Yeah, he goes to Oaks Christian High School out here. I don't know what the relation is. I think it's nephew, but he's a stud.
Would it be? Is it Dimitri's son? Because aren't Dimitri
not
and
Dimitri's son.
Okay.
I want to say it's like his. I don't know. There's kind of a lot of Youngs right now.
There's a lot of Youngs, and they're very, very, very talented at baseball.
Sister's son, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Old Delman. Delman had that crazy year in 2000. Was it 2010 where he drove in like 120 runs? And Gardy, I think it was the first year at Target Field. He just hit doubles down the left field line all the time.
He came over in 2008 or 9.
It was 8. And
he had a good year in 2009 too, I think.
But then in 2010, he raked and got like MVP votes. And this is one of my favorite Gardyisms. Gardy did this when Joe Mauer would get hurt during the Mike Redmond days, and the lineup was cooking. Joe would take a day off. Mike Redmond would just slide right into the 3 slot because he wouldn't want to upset like the other spots in the order. And Delman was on pace for like 115 ribs, batting 8th or 7th all year. And finally, like at some point, Gardy moved him up to 5th or somewhere in the middle of the order. But he said, hey, I don't want to. He's batting 8th. He's driving in everyone. I don't want to shuffle things up here.
I don't know where I land with all that. Like now it's so funny the way we construct lineups now. It's so different than years past, and a lot of it makes sense. Like you want your best hitter up more often than not, and I think what do they say? The 2-hole hitter's supposed to be your best hitter now.
The Gardy rules were he had to play second base and hit the ball through the hole near second base somewhere.
The 2-hole hitter was
Tolbert.
1 hole, get on. 2-hole, move him over. 3 and 4, drive him in. That was it.
For years, for like 100 years, that was pretty much the.
Get him to third.
You'd see these, go look at like Yankees lineups, back even the 100 years ago, and it was like Hall of Famer, some slappy guy that you've never heard of to get the Hall of Famer over, and then Babe Ruth would come up,
Just choke up.
They still say, or I even still say this, and it's like, well, your 9-hole hitter, he turns the lineup over. I'm like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Turns the lineup over.
You mean he gets out really fast so you can get back to the leadoff hitter?
Mean?
Where did you stand on Tony La Russa back in the day? Flip the pitcher into the 8 spot so that the 9-hole hitter could set the table for the leadoff hitter.
That one actually kind of makes sense to me because you can still have. I don't know. I hated hitters pitching or pitchers hitting more than anything.
Well, that's a shame.
Judd misses double switches.
A good double switch at Wrigley, nothing like it.
Well, double switches are. Did we have one? You can still do them, I think, right? But it just doesn't happen very often. Like the Diamondbacks just had to have Ryan Nelson hit in a game not too long ago.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
baseball's great like
that. He got a hit.
See, right there.
In the NFL, you just run on the field if you're going to come in. In basketball, you just hit the scores table. Baseball, it's like, all right, I'm going to come out here with a notepad, talk to the umpire for 10 minutes. So this guy's going here. We're gonna scratch this guy off with our pencils. Yeah.
Bring the guy in from left. He's out. Move a guy to left, and then change the pitchers.
Or hide the pitcher in left for a batter, so you could bring him back in to face the lefty or something.
Dave Steve once.
It's a great.
Didn't Kevin Slowey also run for Jim Thome one time, like in an extra inning? There was some pitcher that like, because Thome, God bless him, can barely move.
I was just talking to Slowey the other day because I actually asked him about the torpedo bats. I'm like, hey, are these legal? He's like second in command at the Players Association.
Yeah.
And we started talking about stuff. He isn't I told him, I said, if you pitched in today's era, I think he'd be incredible. Who knows what his spin rate was, because he had like the Invisa fastball. That's what everyone said. I'm sure the spin was very high. And if he got in front of these cameras and was able to just like manipulate his pitch mix, I bet he'd be great today, because he was so smart and savvy. And
yeah, I feel like he was one of those like high spin, work up in the zone and get more strikeouts than your velocity would, like 10 years before that was even talked about.
I'm looking at his numbers now. I haven't done this. 4.62. Okay.
Yeah, but the first he had some injury stuff there, but he had a couple little solid seasons.
Solid. I feel like though the lack of swing and misses, but granted the whole pitch to contact era, that was his.
I was going to say, if you had the right baseball operations people back then, it might make a difference in a career like his.
His thing, I don't know if you're on his. I'm going to try and find this. If I remember it, third time through the order was like a major thing.
I can look that up.
Wouldn't be a problem now. Be taken out.
Yeah, he could be a 4 2/3 and fly guy and just be kind of.
I think I can look that up. How do you look that up?
Yeah, just keep scrolling down on his splits page.
I got it. No, I don't got it.
This is what happens when the Twins are 3-10. By the way, 3-7. So here we go. Pitches 1 through 25. The OPS jumps like 100 points once he gets above 50 and above 75.
Yeah, so it was first plate appearance 703 OPS, second plate appearance 799 OPS, third plate appearance 931 OPS.
Yeah, that's like
fourth 932.
He'd come out now. He'd come out. It wouldn't be a problem. Hey, you know what? I found something positive. Byron Buxton has played in every game so far, Plouffe.
And he's running around out there like he ran into the wall.
Yep.
And which is kind of scary, but got bounced back up. Like, yeah, he's played in every game.
Couple stolen bases, top 5 MLB savant.
I think he'll be fine
miles per hour speed.
Mm-hmm. No one can run into a wall quite like Byron Buxton.
At first, I was like, that didn't look like he needed to do that. But then you look at the replay, he was going.
Yeah.
He hit that wall.
Yeah.
And I'm always like maybe don't do that.
No.
The fact that he even got to that ball was, he's an insane athlete, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah. They need what NASCAR did, just like so that a 200-mile-an-hour speeding vehicle can just be absorbed by it. That's what the Twins need at Target Field.
I've been watching some of the Wrigley games. They played the Padres. It was a really good series, the Cubs, and they got PCA out there. He's running around like crazy, and watching him like actively like running for a ball, you could see him thinking like, "Fuck, like I have to stop."
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I can't
You'll
jump into the wall. What a crazy thing that is, because you don't do that in the minor leagues. Like you can go run into the wall and it's padded and whatever, and then all of a sudden you have to trick your brain to stop because there's ivy and then a brick wall.
Back in the day, on one of Torrey's contracts, Hunter had among like a 5-team no trade list that included the Cubs because of exactly that.
Yeah,
it's insane that's still a thing.
And then the ivy gives you like 5% padding, but not till June. So you got to wait for a couple.
It's just like sharp branches, right?
Do you want to pad the walls? Is that what you're saying?
They should just put barbed wire
Wrigley?
out there, make it entertaining.
Trevor,
would I pad them?
Do you want to pad them?
Can you like keep the ivy and still pad them?
No,
I don't think so, because the ivy has to.
You got to take it off.
Grow.
It's got to grow.
Right.
How long has that ivy been around? Like 100
Bill
100 years? 130
Bill
years?
Veeck started it in like 1925, 1930 probably.
All right. I guess you can't do that.
Okay, thank you.
I'd even feel bad for that.
I mean, the double switch I miss, but I get it. It's gone. If you take the ivy out of baseball, I don't know that I can handle that. That might be a bridge.
It is funny. Trevor. We can like build all these new condo buildings around Wrigley Field and corporatize it, but we're going to leave the ivy for another 100 apparently.
Last thing before we wrap, Trev, just one thing, the number one thing you want to see the Twins be better at by the time we talk next week. I know you can pick your litter here of your own adventure, but the number one thing you want to see the Twins make an improvement at or just be better at by the time we talk next Tuesday.
I always go, offensively, that just better quality of bats. I think that's what I'm looking at right now. Like I looked at Eddie Julian come up last night, and the swing he took, like there's some things wrong with his swing right now too. Like he is gonna feel like he's gonna top spin every single ball that he hits right now if he's pulling it. So like that's a problem. You have to figure out a way to get out of that. So I would say more quality at bats by the guys, and and we need to hunker down and pour over some video, man. Like pour over some video and make some real mechanical adjustments. I think that needs to happen. Even in a 10-game, we're talking 10 games, and a 4-for-4 day can change everything. I understand that, but there are some tangible things that they can do right now to improve themselves offensively and give themselves a chance to have those quality at bats.
Yeah.
Love it.
There we go. All right, we just fixed everything right there, boys.
Trev's gonna remember. We should try to quiz Trev next week. All the pitchers you went deep in the summer of Plouffe in 2012. Next week.
Don't cheat. We should do that.
I got it pretty good right now.
Oh, I love it.
And then list them alphabetically.
Hold it. Okay. And in order, exactly. Chronological order of how many you went deep. Hey, Trevor Plouffe, every Tuesday here on the SKOR North Twin Show. You can find him on Talking Baseball as well. Appreciate you not showing you. I saw you show your underwear yesterday on Talking Baseball, your sponsor.
Yeah, Skims is one of our sponsors, and I have it's good underwear, so I wore it. I don't know. Yeah. Sometimes we do that.
My wife walked in the room and said, "Oh, what are we watching?" I was like, "It's Coach Trev. Get out."
We didn't have a great. I want to say this, and it doesn't matter. I don't think anyone listening really cares, but we're trying to transition and do some different things on Talking Baseball. And yesterday, I think was our worst episode we've ever had. We've talked about it.
Oh,
it was.
I need to go watch now.
I thought it was good. I'm gonna go watch it now.
I thought it was
good. We do recaps Monday through Friday, and we didn't really recap anything yesterday. We've been trying to go more topic based, but it's not what we do. So I think on Friday it'll be back to recap the series because I don't know, man.
It's a good show. It's a great show. In fact.
Thank you.
It's early, dude. It's a small sample.
Don't
panic.
Yeah.
Small sample.
I got to get back in the lab.
Love it. Thanks, Coach Trev. We appreciate you, man. Hit that like button, subscribe button here on the SKOR North Twin Show. Be talking at you soon.